Yes, Warped Cinema Nerds. Keep watching your movies and playing your precious video games.
Thank you for tuning in for episode 1 of Season Alpha. We are the Warped Cinema Nerds. We are a group of movie and game loving friends traveling aboard the starship WCN-Brownstar. We watch, play, and review games, movies, and technology together, then broadcast our opinions down to earth for your viewing. I am your host, Tin Man. With me are my friends, the intelligent Breaker.
It's morphin' time!
The humorous Boxo.
I was promised cake.
Unfortunately, the knowledgeable Tender and the mysterious Denji are down in the repair room right now. They'll be fixed soon, I hope. Okay, so the topic I want to talk about is how can films continue to get more expensive at a rapid rate, but TV series can maintain smaller budgets, produce many hours of entertainment, and maintain or produce movie-level quality. Like, they look the same, they feel the same, but TV series are much longer and much cheaper than films are. So I feel like something's broken. For example, the HBO show Outlander cost $61 million to produce. So that's 16 hours of movie quality production for only $61 million. If that were a Hollywood film at 16 hours, that would cost like $800 million. Or like it's $100 million for 10 episodes of Westworld, and that was absolutely film quality. Some of it was like absolutely breathtaking. It's amazing stuff. Or let's say let's compare the Firefly or Serenity. So the movie, which I think the special effects didn't even look as good as the show in, cost $39 million, and then the show was only $2 million per episode. Like, how can this happen? Like, there's a disparity between the two. I think something's broken. What do you guys think? Breaker, what do you think?
Well, definitely something broken. And just, it seems like, I mean, Hollywood is a business like anything else. And they're trying to make as much money as they can. So they sometimes charge you outlandish prices just for special effects. I'm looking right now at a trailer from Netflix for a movie called Spectral. And this is, the special effects in this movie are pretty decent. And this is, I'm guaranteed, did not cost as much as any kind of big budget Hollywood film today. I will admit, I'm glad to see smaller films of bigger properties such as Deadpool and Logan coming out that aren't as expensive to make, but coming out with movies coming out with more emotion and more character development than these multi-billion-dollar special effects showpieces that you go and basically you don't get fulfilled, aka Batman vs Superman is my main one I go to. That movie needs to make $1 billion at the box office to break even, and it came close. It made $800 million, but I left the movie feeling unsatisfied and just not very happy, to the point where I actually have gotten it again through a friend who gave it to me, and I just haven't had the need or desire to watch it again. But Deadpool, a movie that costs significantly less, I had probably watched more times than I care to count. So it needs, definitely Hollywood has to start changing its ways of doing things, because its current model, I don't see it be able to sustain itself from the lower budget films or even the TV series that come out that do also pretty impressive effects. I know also there has to compete against the gaming industry, which is another industry that had big budgets, but not as big as Hollywood. But yet you have higher revenue that come in for stuff in almost equal or better quality.
There was something that like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas brought up, and they predict that there might be some kind of major implosion in Hollywood because of stuff like this, and it might be going along the same lines that something is broken in Hollywood, because both of them are having trouble getting some of their films produced, which is crazy because they're such legendary filmmakers and can certainly back up films with their own money if they need to. But they think that for example, this Batman vs Superman, there's going to be like a summer here where like 2 or 3 flops happen in a row with some really expensive films, and it's just going to break the system. And then the Breaker, you have a great point. It's like, yeah, some of the TV series are doing it for a lot cheaper, or like Logan, that looks like it's going to be great. You got cheaper film, but it's just better than these 200 million like these big budget films and stuff.
Yeah, with Logan, I mean, compared to like X-Men Apocalypse, I'm definitely gonna feel like Logan's a much better movie than that the multi-million-dollar Hollywood blockbuster from last year. I mean, I definitely probably will see Logan again, whereas Apocalypse, I could just say, eh.
I felt like Apocalypse was like a victory lap. They're like, yeah, we'll just get as much cash as we can for this, but we don't really care about it.
Right, I got kind of that impression too.
Yeah, it seemed like it was so special effects heavy. It was like there was hardly anything in there that was real, you know. So it was more like, you know, like, we'll just phone this one in. We'll let the special effects company just pretty much do the whole movie for us.
Well, and that's the main problem with Apocalypse was, so many special effects, but they decided to use a human actor for Apocalypse. And if you ever see him in a comic book, he's like some big Hulk-like character, which, in essence, maybe he should have been CG in the movie. He would have been a lot more interesting to look at as a character as a whole.
For sure, because he can change his size, like, to whatever, right?
But he can morph.
That's like one of his, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, like that's another good example of a movie that wasn't really was expensive to make, but wasn't really that good in execution.
I think maybe unions work differently in Hollywood than on TV, but maybe not. Maybe just higher paid actors definitely makes a difference in the budget of big blockbusters.
I was reading something recently, and it brings up the Marvel universe, because you got the TV series for the Marvel stuff, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then you have the movies, right? So what's coming out, or what's happening, is there's a rift beginning to divide the crews that do all the TV stuff and the crews that do all the movie stuff.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like, I can see it on the writer, like from the writer's viewpoint. It's like on the TV shows, they have a whole lot more time to fill up with stuff. So they need to bring in more characters, and just, you know, they have to have stuff to drive a whole lot more plot time. But for like the movies, you know, like, they think they're all super important. So it's like, like their way is the way it has to go. But from what I'm hearing, it's like it's dividing even like the crews and the people, like, you know, that are doing the other parts and stuff, which is kind of strange and interesting.
I think Hollywood's got a lot of entrenched stuff that just like is carried over from yesteryear, and some people still are stuck on like the glamour, and they think they're better just because they used to do things for this big production studio or whatever.
Well, maybe that goes in line with like saying that something's broken in Hollywood, and why their costs are ballooning so much. Like, it might be like maybe like the housing bubble. There's a bubble there, and you know, when these big producers like Spielberg and Lucas are like, hey, this might pop pretty soon. This might all be related.
I would compare it more to like politics, where, you know, it's just like things are grandfathered in, and like nobody ever thinks about it. They just take it for granted, and you know, so like whatever, we're not going to change it. We're all making money, so whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. It might be a lot like that, and it's, you know, like a lot of things, it's not going to get fixed until it's totally broken. And also, I mean, like I think some of the actors are getting it. You know, like there's so many like high A-level actors that are doing a lot more TV stuff these days. Like Tom Hardy, he's doing TV stuff. You know, like all these movie actors are moving over to TV stuff, and I think it works great for them now because the TV, like the production level, is right up there with the movie stuff, and they get a heck of a lot more face time.
Yeah, like that. I think that stigma with actors and agents of like going from TV to films or back and forth I think it's dissipating.
Television is definitely a very powerful medium now, especially since it's everywhere. We have it on our phone, we have it on TV, on our computers. So yeah, that gives the actors a lot more time, screen time to help promote themselves. So yeah, definitely, a lot of actors want to do that nowadays.
And that's a good point. It is really like everywhere now, and it's not just on TV where the schedule's dictated to you. We can all watch it whenever the heck we want. So, yeah, if you're an actor, I'd go for the TV stuff. Forget these small little 2-hour things. Do the big 16-hour miniseries.
Yeah. Plus, I think a lot of the TV stuff is much more adventurous, or like more relying on good writing or good producing, rather than big Hollywood blockbusters. Are just like, we just want to make money.
Well, definitely like Batman vs Superman. It was just like,
oh my God,
they didn't care about that script at all. They were just like, whatever, put it out. It'll make money. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, you'll watch it. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's ironic too that if you want to see that story done really, really good, they came out with an animated version called The Dark Knight Returns, and that is just like 100 times better than that movie was, because it actually followed the comic book, and what the relevant plots were explored with more depth than what was in a TV show. They were the reason for Batman and Superman to fight, and they weren't murderous brutes beating each other up. They were two parties that respect each other, but hey, they had to defeat the other person. So it was a lot more emotional for that fight.
What is their reason for fighting? I don't even know.
In Batman vs Superman, because Lex Luthor's telling Superman to kill Batman because he has his mom hostage somewhere, and if he doesn't do it, he's going to burn her alive.
Oh, okay.
And then the animated movie is because the president orders Superman to take down Batman for coming back into the scene.
Oh, like they don't want vigilantes or something.
Right. The Dark Knight Returns was written in the time of Ronald Reagan. And it was back when Superman's slogan was "Truth, Justice, and the American Way." So he's very much like a agent of the United States. So you do kind of see that he fights the Korean War for us, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's definitely a different take on Superman that we've never seen before. The literally American Boy Scout is what you see, and it's a very good movie. I mean, I know it's animated. A lot of people think, oh, that's for kids, but trust me, this was brutal, violent, but yet it had very much heart and character to it.
I think most of the DC animated movies are really well done and really well scripted. I think it's amazing and strange that the animated side can consistently put out good movies, but the movie production side of DC, they can't get their act together at all. Like even when like Marvel is just like laughing in their faces and stuff, they just can't get their crap together.
Well, I think maybe it's just like the animated crews are way more close to the content, and they know it and they want to make it good, and then the Hollywood DC crew is just like so far removed that they don't even know what's cool about the characters or the story or anything like that.
Yeah, maybe it was kind of like Kevin Smith talking about Tim Burton doing Batman, and he was like, I won't read a comic book, that's way beneath me.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that explains everything then.
Yeah, you didn't even read the comic books, dude.
Yeah, I remember hearing about Zack Snyder with Watchmen, and he was going on something about, he basically, I forgot the exact quote, but he basically wanted to see Batman raped in prison. Mm-hmm. He definitely was. I mean, I'm glad Ben Affleck's got a lot more control of the movies of the movies now, because he's proven he can be a really good director when it comes to stuff with drama. So I'm really.
Argo was amazing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's why I'm so surprised to see him put out this bullshit Batman stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? Weren't you going in a different direction than that?
So I've heard some rumors though, because it seems like I guess it's Warner Brothers and DC. They don't want to, like, the script for the next Batman film is a piece of crap, and they just don't care to fix it. Is what the rumors say anyway. And if it keeps going up like that, Ben Affleck, again rumors, might just walk away from the project and be like, I'm not going to direct this. I want to have nothing to do with it. because this is just crap. I'm done with this.
It's still gonna come out, I'm sure, but
Sure, it's like whatever. You're gonna watch it.
yeah, fuck you.
What's the problem with the Flash? They can't get anyone to do the Flash because all directors keep walking out on it. Because I think the director knows the Flash and he wants to do a Flash movie, but Warner Brother probably doesn't want to do it that way. And so
Flash is such an old character. Like he used to wear like a helmet that was like a World War I helmet. It's like that old of a character. So I'm sure there's a lot of shit with it that just doesn't agree with modern audiences.
Well, even if you
hard to make that.
Even if you take like a more recent Flash, he's always been like a very lighthearted character, a very comical character, which I can kind of see what they did a little bit of that in Batman vs. In the Justice League movie trailer. But at the same time, I don't want this super dark Flash movie. I want something that fits more to the character. Because the thing is with a lot of directors in Hollywood, directors like Zack Snyder get paid up front. Other directors only get paid when the movie does well. And that's the problem with a Flash, is that all these directors, they don't want to go through all this trouble making a movie, and not get paid for it when it doesn't succeed in the box office because Warner Brothers keeps intervening with it.
Yeah, it's producers trying to direct the movie, and the people, the directors are like, dude, this isn't going to be good, and I only get paid if this is a hit. So, screw you guys. I
mean, a great example of that is Spider-Man 3. Sam Raimi basically has said many times that was not the script he wanted. That's not the script that he was supposed to be doing. But the studio has wanted to put Venom. They want to put all these characters in it. So that's why we got the train wreck that came out.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of these guys that they put a bunch of their money in there, but they want to hedge their bet, so they do everything they can. Like they can stuff as much crap as they can get in there because it's like, oh, this will bring more people to see it because this character's in there.
But they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Like you're doing exactly the opposite of what you should if you actually want a good movie.
Yeah, they're making just pure mediocrity because that's kind of the definition of it.
Like you said, it's gonna fucking implode on itself.
And that might be quite exciting. That'll be good to see Hollywood implode and have to change and fix itself. Look,
some kind of term like peak oil, but like for Hollywood, like peak crap. I don't know.
peak poo. Yes.
Yeah, peak poo.
Peak poo.
It might actually be good for Hollywood if it actually happens. Then things will actually break and change.
Well, no, Sony is like, they had I think 3 or 4 major bombs last year for their movie department. So I know they had to hurt a great deal last year, and for a company that's not doing that well financially, with the exception of the PlayStation, that's a sting.
For sure.
And I think that may have facilitated with them kind of letting go of Spider-Man a little bit and coming over to the Marvel movies, because they're like, man, we need to have somebody needs to help us out. We can't get anything right. And at least they acknowledge it, unlike the DC stuff. At least they're like, well, okay, we need some help. Come on, help us out, guys. Help us out, Marvel.
Right. Well, fans were happy about it. Fans were asking for it. Now if we could just get Wolverine in the Infinity War, that'd be perfect. Come on, Fox.
I don't know. What do you think Logan's gonna? Is it like he's appointing his successor or something with the kid that he's with?
I think so. I think that's exactly what they're doing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, no character's gonna be as cool as Wolverine, dude. You can't make it. It's like replacing Jon Stewart on the Daily Show. There's nobody's gonna do that, So maybe it's just a courtesy to the actor guy being like, all right, you don't have to make any more Wolverine movies. We'll finally kill you off somehow.
Well, supposedly he's friends with Ryan Reynolds, who's doing Deadpool, and they are in talks that Wolverine might make a cameo in Deadpool 3, or
cool.
He actually might be the entire movie. Who knows? Maybe Reynolds can convince him to do a buddy cop movie with
that would be cool.
Wolverine.
That would be so cool.
Yeah. The whole time Wolverine's gonna be like, oh god, I hate this guy. Get him away from me.
Yeah, like a buddy cop movie, but they don't like each other.
Exactly.
They fucking hate each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that might work out. All right, well let's move on. Breaker, I know you got some points you want to talk about.
Yep. Last weekend, the Nintendo Switch got officially announced.
Oh, here we go.
And on the positive notes, Zelda looks amazing. I'm not going to even dispute that. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild looks fantastic. Even though it just almost looks like the same thing from the Wii U version with a few more lighting effects, it's basically a beautiful game, and I really would love to play it.
Did you just talk crap about the Wii? Because I might have some things to say about that.
Wii U. But I'm not really talking.
Wii U. Okay, never mind.
Oh no, not. No.
The Wii's fun, man.
Yeah. Then we had Mario Kart 8, which was a rehash of Mario Kart 8 from the previous one, but once again looks nice. They added battle mode to it. Great. Splatoon 2, which is basically cool. Splatoon 1 with newer maps. And finally, Mario Odyssey, which looks pretty amazing. It looks like Mario 64. Actually, Mario 64 2, because it's an open, like basically in the same structure of Mario 64, where you have all these little hub worlds that you can explore and find different, like fight enemies or find different treasures, stuff like that. It looks really interesting.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, especially because you get to explore New York City, which looks kind of weird when you see Mario running around New York, because for some reason they made him like half the size of everybody. So New York's like he's running around. Everyone looks like giant size compared to him, or like he looked like the version of him that doesn't have the mushroom in him yet, where he grows up. But it still looks pretty amazing. I mean, it looks like a really fun game.
Everyone's just like looking at him running around like, this is Chinatown. What's he doing? Like,
right, basically.
Little Italy's like 2 blocks over, bro.
I mean, they got like a Mexico stage. They got like a rainforest stage. They have a candy stage. Looks like it looks very beautiful, very Nintendo-esque. So once again, it looks really cool. The idea of the Switch, where basically the console that is always on the go, I can see appealing to people, especially if you travel a lot. Supposedly, one of the games coming out that's been confirmed is Skyrim.
No way.
Yep, Skyrim.
That's awesome.
Now they don't say which version of Skyrim it is. But I'm hoping at least it's going to be a complete edition for $60. It better be, but it should be the complete edition for everybody. Another game they revealed, which looked nice. It's a port of Super Street Fighter 4 HD Remix called Ultra Street Fighter 4: The Final Fighters. It has 2 extra fighters, Violent Ken and Evil Ryu, and 1 extra mode, which is kind of like a callback to the dramatic battle from Alpha 3. It looks good. I mean, I can see they definitely fixed a lot of the animation problems that 3 had, the timing and all that kind of stuff. So for a fighting game, it looks like they ironed out all these little bugs with it. But the price point on the game is $40, and it definitely does not look like a $40 game. Especially when it was released, I think it was like $15 or $20 7 years ago. I think it was 7 years ago it was released. So that kind of raised an eyebrow. And I'm almost positive it won't be an exclusive. I'm sure that it's going to start off an exclusive, but then it's going to move on to other platforms. This is Capcom we're talking about. So, that being said, I'm kind of wondering a lot about Nintendo's strategy with the Switch.
It sounds like to me that it's like something that kids can sneak into the classroom and play video games during class.
Well, it's actually a little.
That's what they're gonna do, man.
They're gonna try to. I mean, it's a little bit bigger. It's kind of like the size of a tablet with I think a 6-inch tablet with 2 Joy-Cons on each side. So it's a little bit bigger. I don't think you can fit in your pocket. I think it's a little bit bigger than that.
Well, high school kids travel every day and they have backpacks, so they can probably do it.
Right. And from that perspective, that's cool and all. I mean, I think that's a very interesting idea. But the main
Nintendo's good at grabbing that market,
right.
you know.
But what I worry about is the same thing that the Wii U had the same problem with, is third-party support. They do have some third-party titles already officially announced, but these are basically, they have versions of this software running on older systems, such as they have the Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, but they have Vita versions of those games, or they have a PS3 version of 1 and the Vita version of 2. The NBA 2K18, those games come out on the PS3 and Xbox 360. So it's not going to be having the newest graphics on these games. Plus, games that really take advantage of hardware. For instance, this past week, Titanfall 2's I think creative director or something like that, or one of their engineers, came out and said Titanfall 2 will not work on the Switch. It just doesn't have enough power to run Titanfall 2. And that's kind of the same thing Gearbox software said about Borderlands 3. That basically Nintendo had their own way of doing things, so Borderlands 3 will probably not be on the Switch. And that kind of worries me hearing all these developers saying stuff, because this means that, once again, Nintendo might have a problem getting some third-party developers. Like, you don't hear about like EA. The only game coming out on it is FIFA. Not Mass Effect Andromeda, not Battlefield, not Battlefront, none of the big AAA games. And they basically even made a comment, basically stating in so many words that, hey, we're doing to show support for Nintendo, and when the unit starts long story short, this is to show, hey, we support Nintendo, but we're going to be waiting to see what Nintendo does before we port over anything else to their platform.
This seems kind of like the same type of problem like we're talking about with Hollywood. It's like these business people are making the decisions and not the people who are actually making the product. Like, I'm sure all the engineers involved are really frustrated. But it's like all executive decision stuff that they don't have control over.
Right, exactly. And my thing is, this thing's using the X1 Tegra processor. Now, I'm using that in my Shield. And the thing is, it can do some pretty impressive graphics. But it can only do it for like the past gen stuff, not for anything current. At least not. Supposedly Tomb Raider 2009 is coming out on it. I'm kind of curious to see what that looks like on it. But once again, that was also a PS3 game and Xbox 360 game. But the X2 processor, which is actually on par with the PS4, comes out in 6 months from what reports I'm reading. I feel honestly Nintendo should just waited a half a year to release this, to implant this new chip in it. That way it wouldn't have these problems they have right now with developers in having an underpowered system once again. From what I'm seeing from all reports, basically this thing is not very much more powerful than the Wii U is. So I don't know how well it's going to do in the market, considering the fact the primary thing I thought they were going to do with this thing was market this thing as a handheld, because of the ability to remove from a dock. But they said, no, this is a console first. This is not a handheld. They're the home console you can take on the go, but this is not a handheld. We still will keep the 3DS in circulation. So that means no Pokemon games are going to be coming on this most likely. They're going to keep those for the 3DS. So now you have their own portable console competing against their system. In fact, it's going to be kind of interesting, because this fall Dragon Quest 11 comes out, and that's going to be both on the Switch and 3DS. So, and I don't know if they're going to be able to talk to each other. I'm kind of wondering that, but it's a very odd proposition for that game.
Well, I agree with you. I think they should have waited 6 months and maybe had a bit more powerful of a process there and there. But more importantly, let the game developers set up some games so they could have maybe some exclusive stuff. But at the very least, just have more games out with it. Because like the big thing I took away from the release is like, I mean, that's all you got. I mean, like when the other big guys like Xbox or PlayStation, when they have releases, you got some mega games that people are dying for. And totally not the case here with the Nintendo Switch. It's like, okay, I don't need to get this system to play these games. It's already on your older systems. It hasn't changed that much.
Right. it's a very odd move. I mean, it's so many odd moves from Nintendo, including this online servicing, which is my main part of this rant. Nintendo's always had a free online server, but now they want to charge for it. Fine. I mean, all the other two consoles are doing it. I personally am against charging for online service because PC doesn't do it, and been proven that it can be done well for free. But the thing with PlayStation Plus and Xbox Gold is they offset that too with free games. So on Xbox, every month you get 4 games for free. If you have an Xbox One, you get 2 Xbox 360 and 2 Xbox One games. And on PS4, you can actually get up to 6 games for free if you have a PS3, Vita, and a PS4, because you get 2 for each one of those consoles. So that's for one membership. So they kind of offset that cost to where I can guarantee you I've got that $60 back in free games every year. So I don't mind paying for the service. But Nintendo's strategy is they haven't said how much it's going to be. The rumors going on how they're going to do it is they're going to charge $5 a month instead of having $60 up front to make you feel that, oh, well, we're not expensive as the other one. It's just a mindset kind of thing, even though it is still $60. And they're going to give you 1 free SNES or NES game. But the catch is they're going to take it away from you at the end of the month. So you don't even get to keep that game. So in essence, you're not really getting anything back from the service except for the ability to play online, which I find is to be very archaic in structure.
So you're basically paying $5 a month for an internet connection that you already have?
Yes. Basically, yes. I mean, basically they're holding your games hostage to play them online. And they're trying to basically defend it by saying, well, internet services cost a lot of money. Plus, we're starting some new things like with the saving and that I think they're going to have screen names finally. They're going to get rid of the friend code. They've already confirmed that. So hopefully that means all your purchases are assigned to a actual account now instead of to your console, which is the main reason why I've never bought one of these on Nintendo console, because if your console breaks, all your games you bought for most part are gone. You can't go just re-log in and re-download them. And it just seems like a not very thought out strategy on their part. And basically they want what they want to do. They want to charge a consumer to pay for their upgrades to their online service, where it should be somewhat their responsibility to do it, to provide for the consumer. So, and here's the best part about the whole thing, is to talk to somebody, to have voice chat. Once again, on Xbox and PS4, that you have to use a headset, whether it be Bluetooth or a connection to your controller. They need to use a voice chat on a game like Splatoon. First, you need to have a cell phone or a tablet, and download the Nintendo app to the cell phone and tablet. Then link your headset to that cell phone or tablet to talk to your friends and communicate that way. It won't do it natively to the console. You need to have a second party device to do online chat. Or even,
well, that kind of kills the portability of the thing, doesn't it? Because then you have to have a whole bunch of crap sitting around. Like, you're taking up like a whole table instead of a little desk just to play this thing.
Right. And another thing is, they're not going to have online, like Netflix and Hulu and all those services that every other console lets you use. Even the Wii U had all three, like Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Hulu. The Switch will not have any of those, at least at launch. And they're considering putting those as apps later down the line, because they feel that, well, you already have a device that has this. Why do we need to put it on our console? But it's like, if you're relying on a device to do that kind of work for you, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, because that device might do even the gaming or stuff like for you. You're kind of relying too much on the other devices to do the work that your system should be doing.
That's stupid.
I mean, one of their engineers said this, and this is a quote, saying part of the strategy of the Switch was the strategy of the Switch was doing good engineering, but also having a little bit of luck or something like that. So they're hoping for luck to push this thing forward.
Pokemon Go seems just like total luck that it just exploded like it did.
Right. But now it's here like it's really declined.
Yeah, and I don't think they learned anything from it.
Well, just like the Wii U, I feel like they haven't learned anything from the Wii U. And the sad part is, I really don't. I mean, I'm not trying to hit on Nintendo because I hate Nintendo. I love Nintendo. I think they're a very big part of my childhood, just like everyone, just like a lot of people. I don't want to see them close shop, or even I don't even believe it or not. I don't even want to see them become third-party developers, because then they're going to be under the heel of Microsoft and Sony. So I want them to do their own thing, because when they do their own thing, they do some amazing things. But at the same time, I want them to make good business decisions. I want them to be a player again. I don't think they'll ever get to where they were back in the 80s and 90s, where they were the king of the world.
They were, yeah, huge.
But I would like to see them be very much relevant, to where, whenever three people feel like they need to have the Nintendo console. Because right now, it's just like Nintendo's been, especially since the Wii U, since the Wii, it's always been like this, the little brother to the big console that's on your TV. It's never been your primary console for the most part. It's always just been like, well, I want to have a Wii or a Wii U or a Switch with either a PS4 or Xbox, a PlayStation or Xbox. And it's never like back in the old days. Once again, I bring up the SNES and Super and NES. If you had one of those consoles, you were good to go. You didn't really need any of the other consoles. You might have been able to get the other console, but you really didn't need to have the other consoles. Where that was your primary. You always got, if there's a Genesis version, you got a Super NES version, most likely you got the Super NES version of the game. So that's where I feel Nintendo is now. Like, Skyrim on the go sounds great, but for a person that doesn't really travel a lot, or people that don't really travel a lot, I don't see anyone buying the game over again when they can easily just getting on their PlayStation or Xbox. And not to mention, if you have a Vita, you can stream your PS4 with anywhere with Wi-Fi, and it runs pretty well. So that means you can go to a coffee shop with your Vita and play Skyrim over the coffee shop, and then get to your PS4 and log on and just be able to continue your game.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been actually using a lot of the streaming features of the PlayStation 4 recently, and it works pretty well. I will admit, I will give Sony that streaming works really good. But back to Nintendo. I really hope this works out for them. I really do. But at the current rate, it
doesn't sound like it's gonna.
Right, it doesn't sound like they know what they're doing, and that's very dangerous in the kind of competition they're going against. They're going to be, the Wii U only sold 13 million consoles in, I think, in 4 years. The Xbox One has sold in 3 years 26 million, and the PS4 has sold 53 million units. So Nintendo's definitely got this uphill battle, and I really, really was hoping that they would have something more to come to the table with, other than the little Joy-Con things that are just basically Wii U remotes.
Yeah.
I mean, for a person like with my hands, I mean, those little things are too small for me to be able to play like with one controller. Maybe together, yeah, they could work together, but they want to try to market it like if you're playing Street Fighter 5, you can break it apart. You can take one, and I can take one, and we can play Street Fighter 5 like that. That's not the way I want to play Street Fighter. I mean, not Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 2. So we'll definitely see what Nintendo has in store. Hopefully they'll at least change their policy on the online part to where, to be blunt, if they give like 2 or 3 games a month away, and they let you keep them, that might actually be a good proposition. Because let's face it, Nintendo has some great stuff in their backlog, and the stuff I would love to replay, like Metroid, Zelda, Mario. I mean, of all the companies, they have probably some of the best IPs in the business. And I wish them the best of luck with this, but I don't know how well they're going to do competing against themselves in the handheld market, and then compete against the PlayStation and Xbox, and hell, I would say a PC market for the main games market.
Boxo, I believe you have a point you want to talk about.
Yeah, so I saw the first Logan trailer in the theater, and it was awesome. When I went to go see, I forget what I was seeing, but it was like a Star Wars movie. Yeah, Star Wars. Anyway, and there's a new trailer out, so let's check that stuff.
Normally, you would have watched this trailer with us. Unfortunately, 20th Century Fox does not want to play nice and let us show this trailer on YouTube. We apologize, and will simply stop talking about any Fox properties in the future.
Or it could be someone else's blood. Who knows? Plenty of blood to go around.
Okay. Sort of a buddy movie, I guess, but with a little girl and a older dude. That worked in The Last Boy Scout, right?
They could rename it Little Miss Not So Sunshine.
And it turns out Logan's colorblind. Really? Sorry. Yeah. That looks like a real movie. It doesn't look like a piece of shit blockbuster, you know?
Oh man, like I'm gonna go see that as soon as I can. That looks wonderful.
Yeah, it looks like actually somebody cared about it.
Right.
I don't know if it didn't really give away too much for me. Like lately, trailers have really been giving away so much. It's like, all right, I don't need to see this movie because I know what happens. That didn't. It touched on it a little bit, but not quite.
Yeah, that's true. And that was the second trailer as well. And yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what's going on. I need to go figure it out.
That's a totally different picture than the first trailer it gave me.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least, different vibe.
Yeah, well now it turns out the little girl's a total badass. In the first trailer, it was like, oh, so he has to take care of this little idiot.
Yeah, I didn't know she had like claws or anything. I just thought maybe she had the healing power. So how the fuck did she get those claws? Is she part of the same government experiment or something?
Yeah.
Stryker Jr. maybe?
Well, actually, did you stay?
Gotta be, right?
Either one you stayed to the end of X-Men Apocalypse?
Are you talking about the after credits
Right.
piece?
Oh.
No, I don't think I forget. You'd have to remind me.
Well, after the end of credits, you see like two government agencies going into the remainder of the Weapon X program, where you saw Wolverine in the movie, and they have like a little back door that's hidden away. They open up and it had a blood sample of Wolverine. So what they did was
they like cloned him.
That's a clone. You see the clone of him.
Mm.
And there's
so it's like his daughter even.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah, basically, yeah, no kidding. No, that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, she they actually made it where you have the company SX in the at the end of the movie, which is a villain's company, Mr. Sinister. But it's coming out.
You said sex.
They had a Bryan Singer, who's directing this movie, has stated that either he's not in it or he's not in it. Mr. Sinister is not in it at all, or he's not in it that much. He actually might just be like a dude in the shadows that you never see, which will work perfectly for me because I don't want another the Wolverine movie, because the first two thirds of that movie were really good, and then that third part is like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Third act was like, what?
Right.
All that World War II stuff was cool, and then it was like, what?
Yeah, all that stuff in like
stupid battle scene. And it's like, oh.
Right, and it's like that one part in the freaking uncut edition where you have the Japanese girl that the other mutant, where she's with Wolverine and they're attacking the ninja village, and Wolverine killing the ninjas, and she's shredding them up with like in a snow, like a little, like a weed shredder thing, where basically their blood shooting out the back of it. It's like, this is the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, is that your friend in the wood chipper there?
Yeah. So oh god, that movie. But anyway, like I said, this movie.
So you said Bryan Singer did that one?
No, he did not do that one. No, he's doing this one.
He's doing Logan.
Logan, yes.
Okay, that's why it looks so good.
Oh yeah.
Or the like photography. I remember seeing the Superman trailer. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be so awesome. And then it was kind of really long and boring.
Yeah. I mean, he left X-Men.
But the photography was good.
Yeah, and because of that, we got X-Men 3. So Oh man. Anyway, he should stay with the X-Men franchise.
We'll just forget about that one.
Right. Well, actually, that's why they had Day of the Future Past to rewrite it so that movie never happened.
Yeah. Days of Future Past made up for every transgression I could think of.
Yeah, now Bryan Singer too.
Damn.
But this movie, I feel every time I look at it, I feel like they're ending the X-Men franchise with this movie, the X-Men movie franchise, and they do bring it back. It's going to be through a reboot or something like that.
Yeah. I don't look forward to another reboot.
Well, I do if it's handled by Marvel.
Yeah, maybe they'll do a good job.
Yeah.
But like new actors playing the heroes and stuff, it's like, I don't know, man.
I mean, this comes up with like the point that Matt and Trey with South Park are bringing up with the member berries. It's like man, it's so hard to get rid of these member berries. Like this, you know, their point is like let's do something new. Let's stop rehashing the old stuff over and over. You know,
Right.
Well, unfortunately, Hollywood, they like to push that remember button,
Yeah.
aka Power Rangers. But anyways,
Remember Jaws?
oh, don't say that. That's 2 months we're gonna hear about Jaws reboot. What would I say? What did I hear about getting rebooted recently that just got finished?
Two Kurt Russell movies that are getting rebooted, right?
oh yeah, like Escape from L.A., right? Or was it Big Trouble in Little China?
Big Trouble, it was like both, right? But no, it was Big Trouble in Little China and then something else that Kurt Russell was also in. Escape from New York?
No, it's the Egypt oh shoot, the Stargate.
Oh, Stargate, there you go, yeah.
All these movies that are reboots somewhat do well because people want to remember them, but I feel that if they take more of a chance and try to come up with something new, they actually do better with that kind of a scenario because then it's fresh.
Yeah, and they catch a new audience too, you know?
Terminator. I'm sorry. But that's the one that they're going to try to reboot is Terminator.
They're going to reboot it again?
Yep, in 2019. With
Like, this is like, what is like number 5 of reboots? Dude, that fucking TV show, the Sarah Connor TV show,
mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I hate it. I didn't even make it through the first episode. I was like, no way I'm watching this shit.
Like, yeah, my gripe just going in the first episode is like, wait, this kid's registered in school?
Yeah.
So then he's in the, like, he's on the grid. Like,
Yeah.
the Terminator.
It was so not Terminator, man. It was just a TV show. It wasn't Terminator at all.
Yeah, the Terminator it had Terminator week syndrome, where every week they had to kill another Terminator for some strange reason. Like they've been Terminator living with us all this time. But yeah,
what was that old comic book, Ed, that you had, the Terminator comic books? It was like Secondary Objectives.
Yeah, that was a great series.
It's so use that as a reboot.
That would be awesome.
That'd be great.
Well, the good news is James Cameron wants to do the reboot for Terminator. So,
well, if that's the case, he won't be doing it until like 2030 because he's already got like the next 10 years booked out between the next Avatar films and then Battle Angel. So it's going to be
I forgot about
because
Battle
he
Angel.
takes his time.
Yeah, but James Cameron regains the rights to Terminator in 2019. That's what they're talking about.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Cool.
But I'm afraid.
Well, at least maybe he can put somebody good in charge, you know?
Yeah, but keep in mind, Hollywood, if it's anything like the Marvel stuff is, if Hollywood some of the stuff gets the license get renewed if they don't make another movie. That's what happened with Fantastic Four. That's why they made that movie, because they want to keep the license for Fantastic Four. Hollywood could just build it, just hash out another Terminator movie to keep that away from James Cameron. So,
I don't know. If
Terminator Genesis was so awful.
Was it?
It was awful. Like, so they rehashed a lot of the stuff from like the earlier films that worked, and they just redid them again. And it was not really its own film. And then they went off the deep end and did some super fantastical stuff that really doesn't make any sense. And it's like, well, if Skynet was really this smart, why are us humans even a threat to it at all? So it got real dumb real quick.
Yeah, the whole thing with John Connor oh god.
Yeah, it was just way too over the
I will
top.
admit, I did like the stuff based on Terminator 2. That stuff was probably the only stuff I liked about that movie. But other than that,
Okay,
that was
yeah.
a waste.
I don't know, man. I think Hollywood's slogan should be like, if we can fuck it up, we will.
Remember your path? Well, we're gonna change that for you. Your childhood. Hollywood, fucking up childhood since Transformers 1. Even though,
Man, they should they should redo like the Goonies or something.
Like even E.T. sucks now.
oh god, thank God Robert Zemeckis had the rights to Back to the Future, so they can't do that.
Oh, thank God.
That's really nice. Yeah.
Too bad Ivor Reitman, they keep.
And plus, even if they redid one, Michael J. Fox would just like crash the car.
That's bad, dude.
He
can't drive.
Could that even be done properly nowadays? I mean, just consider the fact that that movie was definitely a movie that was perfectly set in its time period. Do you think that could actually work as a movie nowadays?
Because like
I don't think it could catch that. Like, what do you call lightning in a bottle? Like, you couldn't do that. That's so rare. That movie
if
just.
They were to look into the future. Like the next future we're looking at is like the newer reboot with Colin Farrell of Total Recall. Like the future would look like that.
Yeah, I really liked that movie's vision of the future kind of thing.
I think the new Total Recall is pretty good. I was happy with that.
I don't like seeing Bryan Cranston as a villain though, unless he slowly becomes one over 8 seasons or so.
Oh god, I can't believe I'm bringing this up, but Bryan Cranston is gonna be Zordon in the new Power Ranger movie.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow. He's like General Zop. Zordon. Yeah. It's like the same kind of just like watching from a distance villain.
And here's the interesting part about Bryan Cranston. He actually got his acting start in Power Rangers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did some villain in the series. I don't know who it was, but yeah.
What, he like had a mask on or something? Or?
He did the voice work of the character. That's like one of the first little voice acting jobs he did.
The actual character is like a small Japanese man.
Right, exactly.
jumping around with the costume on.
That show is so different in Japanese. If you ever, I have never watched them, but I've heard people talk about them, and it is like a much more sadistic version of what we watch. Like there was actually a contest in Japan to save Tommy, the Green Power Ranger, or whatever his name is in Japan. So they have a bunch of kids calling this radio show, and they voted to save him. Well, on the show, they killed him off still because they wanted to show children that you can't always save everybody.
They're pulling a George R. Martin on these people over there. It's like, no, everybody dies.
Oh, you like that character? Do you? Yeah. Gone.
Well, like the character of Rita is like, she did one episode where they had this Sphinx that you have to ask questions to. This episode is in America, but it changed it a lot. That in Japan, the Sphinx asks a little kid a question, and if they answer wrong, they get turned to a tree. Now the catch-22 is for the trees are in this little area that's getting cut down by a logging company. So I'm not quite sure. He didn't finish it. Like the podcast I listened to didn't finish if they actually do cut down all the kid trees or not. But it's like, damn, that's statistic.
Wow.
Oh, but it doesn't stop there. It goes to the lumber mill.
They all just become bowling pins.
Well, there actually is a scene in Dragon Ball Z where one of the characters healed the little boy's vision. One of the villain characters healed the little boy's vision. But then the little boy says, "I'm thirsty. Do you have anything to drink?" So the character goes, I'll go get you something to drink. So he flies off and finds this dude like loaded his truck. So what he does, he can transmute people. So he transmutes the guy into a bottle of milk and brings the little boy, and the little boy drinks the bottle of milk.
That's fucking weird, man.
I know.
What? Why didn't he just take the drinks that the guy was like, what?
Well, the little boy doesn't know that was a person at one point.
Right.
So
he's like making the little kid like drink somebody?
Well, the character want to.
Drink up a little.
Well,
Johnny.
the character wanted. The character got off on people getting scared of him. So the little boy was blind. So the guy had the power to heal. So he heals the kid's eyes so you can see him, so you can get scared and kill him. So, but the kid is like grateful that he got healed and give him a hug and gets all nice with him, and the villain is like all sympathetic toward the kid now, like he's never really like had a friend or anything like that. So, like I said, then like one point is like they're walking around and he said, "I'm thirsty. Do you have anything to drink?" And that's when the character flies off, finds the dude, turns him into a milk, and brings him back to the kid.
I can see the humor in that, definitely.
And I think they changed it for the American version. I don't think they had that part in the American version of it.
I'm sure. Those Americans, they can't handle anything.
Oh yeah, there's so many.
One guy gets turned into a bottle of milk, and it's the whole thing.
Oh yeah, I could tell you they have so many instances of censorship in America on these TV shows that just are unbelievable. What they cut out just to spare the tykes.
And yet we accept all this advertising that's just not present in other parts of the world.
Right, exactly.
We're like bombarded with it, man, and like nobody's pissed about it at all.
Well,
that's what the South Park movie is all about. That's the entire plot right there.
Yeah.
It's like, like you can show as much violence as you want. Like their parents could go off and start this massive war, as long as you don't say any bad words.
Yeah.
Is that where they were throwing themselves at the building, and they were splattering themselves on the building to have them take some show off the air? So you have all these dead bodies on the building.
I don't know, but I like that. That's hilarious.
That's so funny.
That was South Park. I don't remember which one that was, but I remember that from South Park. Like,
yeah,
what
I remember that.
the hell?
And it's like protesting like Canadians or something like that.
It was something that was on television. They were protesting. God. So they protested it by throwing.
Yeah, it's Terrence and Phillip. I think they're probably protesting Terrence and Phillip.
Probably so.
Who would say nasty things.
Well, maybe it was the movie then, because that's they were all like the whole war was started against Terrence and Phillip.
Right?
So.
Yeah.
Hey, guy.
I'm not your buddy, guy. I'm not your guy, buddy.
I have to admit, one of the ones about Terrence and Phillip I really liked was the one with the freedom isn't free with the free to play games, because it was just so accurate about it.
Freemium is
right.
Free.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a. I haven't finished watching New South Park. I gotta finish watching that season.
Oh yeah, the new season's great.
It's hilarious.
I even got my girlfriend to watch the whole thing. Like she wanted to watch it.
Yeah, because they just lay into Trump and they just don't stop.
Oh yeah.
And it ends with Caitlyn Jenner, like all screwed up as she is, being like,
fuck.
He's like, buckle up, buckaroos. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's killer.
Sir, you can't just sit there with your stank face.
Thank you for watching the Warped Cinema Nerds. Come back again soon for episode 2.